no rest for us. Won't you hit this road with me, shawty? You can stand up in the sunroof, let your hair down, let the wind hit your face, and just breathe, breathe, breathe.
Everything, but everything was never enough. My heart, my soul, the good, the bad, all that I am, everything.
Well, here we go again. A nice, wonderful day in the coastal empire, doing what it do. Man, it's on and off. And I rode in the rain a couple of times this week, but it is what it is. I ain't trying to get out there today. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't this kind of rain. Let's put it that way. It certainly wasn't this kind of rain, you know? But right now I'm just getting ready for my ride I'm about to do on Thursday. I'm actually prepping to go to, let me mount this on the Casper over here. I'm prepping to go to Miami, hang out with my niece for a minute. You know, we have a little joke. She calls me Uncle Daddy. Don't, nothing weird about it, but she's more like my daughter than my niece. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate her, and she's been shining a light in my life. So I'm glad that I'm going to have an opportunity to spend a few hours with her. Although this ride is more about the ride to Key West. You know, I'm definitely going to put in an hour or two with my family. You know what I mean? So as many of you know, I'm a new rider. I say I'm a returning rider because, I played around, but in truth, I never really owned my own bike per se. What I did do, however, was act like a maniac on all my friends' bikes, right? So, I'm very fortunate to have some really good friends in the Army, in college, that allowed me to, hang with them, and they trusted me with their stuff. I did, however, one time wreck a Ninja. My friend Bogart let me get on that thing, and I don't know what I was doing that day, but some reason or another, I ended up putting that thing into a slide and put a $50 hole in the quarter. It was a pretty ugly day that day. I'll never forget it. Bogart, if you happen to see this, I truly am sorry. I did pay for the damages, though. Rain can be very calming and peaceful to ride in. It can also bring you certain challenges. Several items that I wrote down in this, I basically wanted you to know that you got to gear up like a pro, right? And that means finding a wetsuit that does not leak, that you stay warm, your gloves and boots and helmets. Listen, the one problem that I have, I will be honest with you, I have yet to find a pair of gloves that are really water resistant. So if you know of any, please put them in the comments for me. I don't have any gloves that are water resistant, and I often have problems, because I wear glasses anyway, with fogging, right? So it's not even really my helmet fogging, it's the glasses fogging, right? So those are issues that I have, right? Reflective gear when you're riding. If your rain suit is not reflective, you're doing yourself an injustice, because it's already hard to see. And if you're one of these individuals that drives or rides a gray colored, black colored, navy blue colored, dark colored bike, it's hard to see you on the road. I can imagine it's probably pretty hard to see Casper on the road. My first time in a real rainstorm with Casper was when I returned from Daytona, and I tell you what, that was an experience. But I felt fairly confident that people saw me. Not only did I get all brand new zero lights, like spar lights, the bag lights, the saddlebag lights, and the tour pack lights, the spar lights and the machetes are what they're called, excuse me, and in the fairing lights, which are called the fangs, I felt like, because he was a white bike with a lot of light in the front anyway, and he has a very good light package on it, that I did very well. And of course, brake free. Listen, nothing that I'm mentioning I'm sponsored by, but I am told that my brake free light annoys people. And let me tell you, I'm glad, because that means you notice it. I don't get any kind of sponsorship from Brake Free, but if you haven't seen the Brake Free light, it's basically this little device on the back of my helmet, and I'm told that, I got it in rain mode. I think this is rain mode where it flashes, right? But I keep it in rain mode. I want people to see it. So you got to be very careful when you're riding around It's got several different modes, you know. Not sure what that mode is called, but as you can see, it's definitely something you can see when you slow down or move or certain gestures, it will actually light up bright and get people's attention. So one of those things I want you to do is consider making sure you have the proper gear and definitely the proper rain gear. Remember, rain makes it very hard to keep traction on your vehicle when you're on the road. Go gentle on your brakes. Remember to keep your eyes on the road like a hawk, like an eagle, you know, so that you can basically see and look for hidden, you know, issues, you know, things that might cause you to have an accident or anything like that, right? Be gentle on your brakes, your rear brakes especially. You don't want to put yourself into a skid or a slide. Listen, I'm not the expert rider here, but I've ridden in a lot of rainstorms, and I don't really know much about too much except the fact that I try to keep it at a decent speed, try to keep it at you know, a situation where I might be in a lot of rain. I try not to ride in huge puddles. If you see standing water, take it slow and kind of get out of that lane. I've heard people say ride in a tire behind someone who's riding, you know, in their tire lane. If you can see the water moving apart, that gives you more traction. And if that's the case, you know, you need to do that. You need to get behind somebody who's not kicking up a lot of water and maybe ride in that lane just to be safe, right? I don't know if you hear that thunder out there. That's the storm is real. Yeah, I do like how this bag sits behind me. I never had a tour pack bag or a bag that sits like this on a vehicle, so it's pretty good. I do have an Onyx bag, I believe, from Harley that I used previously on my Harley Davidson over there. I definitely like that bag. This bag is similarly the same. It's like having a large backrest. I can see myself leaning back on this on the road. It's pretty good. So, continuing with our conversation, I'll tell you this. You know, you got to increase your following distance. You don't want to be up on a car in case they hit the brakes too hard in the rain. Plus, they're kicking up a lot of water. You don't want that drama as that splashing all in your face. That's something that can really be irritating to you and actually cause you a lot of damage. Yeah, follow the lane. You know, be in that lane where the wheel is at and watch the water spread apart as you're traveling behind the vehicle. Give yourself plenty of room to stop because, of course, if you had to do an emergency braking, you're going to skid differently than you would if you had four wheels. If you're in a situation where you have to brake though, try engine braking. Try downshifting, you know. Downshifting has helped me as a new rider. You know, as I'm riding in the rain, I feel a lot more comfortable braking if I'm coming to a slow, if my engine is slowing itself down, so to speak. I'm not looking to do a sideways skid. You know, I ain't no action rider. So for me, slowing down to a perfect speed, don't worry about the people behind you. You know, they're in cars, and if they you know, are getting mad at you, they got other lanes, they can go in another lane. So at the end of the day, take your time and use your engine braking. Go from, you know, 6th to 4th to get the engine to kind of calm itself down as you come to a stop, you know. One of the things I've always said when it comes to riding my motorcycle or motorcycles is I want to be seen. You know, that's why I bought rather bright colored jackets. I got orange jackets from Beyond Rider. I got purple jackets, yellow jackets, white jackets. The one I just bought from Built, excellent jacket. You know, I bought these white colored and bright colored helmets and things like that because I want to be seen. You know, I'm not the Dark Knight here. I'm not somebody who wants to live under the cover of darkness. And I'm not saying people with dark bikes should consider getting a different color bike. I'm simply saying, you know, I like to be seen. So even if I had a dark colored bike, I would add lights, man. I've added lights. Like I added the fangs here in the front so I could be seen. I have fog lights on this particular vehicle. On overcast over there, I got the custom dynamics signal lights that are sequential, so they burn white until you hit the signal button. I got the Shark Demon on that bad boy over there. And I got some vent lights. I want to say those came from Custom Dynamics as well. And on the back of the overcast, I got some Advent Black saddlebag lights to go with, and I did Custom Dynamics in the tail lights as well. I'm all about being seen, whether it's raining or not. It's about safety, you know what I'm saying? I like lights. I think the more lights on a bike it looks cool. Like I live these guys who ride around. They got these, you know, they got a dark colored bike, but they got the engine lights in them, and they're purple and blue, and they switch colors. You know, I think that's really fly to me. I don't have a set in mind yet, but I actually considered it. I guess the best thing to sum up this whole thing that I'm talking about is just, you know, ride with respect. Like I got this trip I gotta go on, and be quite frank, you know, I know it's probably gonna rain on the way, but I'm still gonna ride out, even if it's raining, right? I'm gonna ride out because I got to get to this training, but most of all, I gotta get down to Key West. It's something I gotta do prior to that, right? So going from Key West to Monroe, North Carolina, that's gonna be like I guess a 12, 13 hour ride altogether, you know, if you add your time to it. I think it's like a 9 or 10 hour ride, right? And, you know, if it rains, it just rains. I'm gonna go. I gotta get there, right? Gotta be there Monday morning for this training. So just because it rains doesn't mean it's gotta end the ride, you know. But however, just be safe. Respect the road. Respect your vehicle. Respect the bike. Listen, I done made it up to 443 subscribers, man. I really appreciate y'all joining the conversation of a guy who's learning how to ride touring bikes and trying to learn how to see this country from the back of a V-twin, right? So I appreciate y'all joining the conversation. If you have it in you, please share, like, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. My son and I, we're building this channel together. My son does some of my editing. He gives me some of my ideas to talk about. And, you know, I think it's fun that he and I are doing this together. So if you could help us continue that as we bond, I would appreciate you if you could share this and tell your friends about this, especially the ones that are learning how to ride. Maybe I can help them get over their fear or anxieties that they may have you know, as we all explore touring together. Listen up, you know what it is. If you got yourself a bike in your garage, collecting dust, pull it out, dust it off, gas it up, and enjoy the ride.
I guess that's life in the big city, huh? They say there's no rest for us. Won't you hit this road with me, shawty? You can stand up in the sunroof, let your head down, let the wind hit your face, and just breathe, breathe, breathe.